All right, we are back with another episode of our Rim Wars, the Old Republic Let's Play. So both Wade and Hud have made it back to the base, and something odd is going on with Wade right now. So he's glowing blue, even though his lightsaber is not equipped. And if I draft him so that he faces me, he's got like crystals or something growing out of him. And so I'm wondering if that's the... he's not the one carrying it, though. Yeah, I'm a bit confused, honestly. So it's showing up here as well. Again, not really sure why. I thought he might be carrying that pearl that we picked up, but he doesn't appear to be, so I don't know what the deal is. He doesn't have, like, a point to spend or anything. I'm not sure why he's got blue crystals, but we should probably get that looked at by a doctor. So I've also fixed Hud's gear, so he's equipped how he should have been. So he was a soldier. He does have a little bit of armor, and he's got his glasses and everything. So he's carrying this blaster right now, but I'll probably give him a different one. That one's a bit heavy for somebody who's going to be doing mostly civilian work. And in addition to those two, there's actually a third member of the party that arrived, though not so much willingly. Unfortunately, on the journey back, they did encounter yet another Imperial ambush, but it doesn't look like my recording software started up when it was supposed to. So Hailsham here attacked us. She is a member of the... Oh, she's got the crystal things happening too. I don't know what that is supposed to be, but I'm a little bit concerned. It could be like texture for blood that's not rendering in properly or something, because both she and maybe they're bandages. Maybe they're supposed to be bandages. But both she and Wade were a little bit beat up. So she ambushed us alone, ill-advised, and ended up in melee combat with both Wade and Hud, who eventually, you know, obviously outmatched her. And so I figured I'd bring her along because she is probably the least bad character that we've encountered so far in terms of potential prisoners. So she's a hard worker, and she is a teetotaler, if that's the correct way to say that. She doesn't like abusing chemicals, which is kind of in line with our ideological policies for the most part. The Republic culture does allow for alcohol and social use of alcohol, but I mean, if she is completely adverse to it, that's fine too. I was especially interested in the fact that she has some passion for construction. Now, construction is apparently the hardest skill to find in pawns that spawn into the world for whatever reason. Now, the downside is she is just completely useless in combat, but she has skill and passion for both plants and crafting, and a lot of passion, but not necessarily yet the skill for medicine, and of course construction too. So all in all, I think she's a decent pickup as somebody that can do a lot of the busy work around the colony. And the fact that she can't do combat just means that she'll be more focused in doing these things, and we don't have to worry about training her or drafting her to go do things. She can just get work done. Now, she is from the Sith Empire. She does have the Sith Empire culture, so we're going to need to eventually deal with that. And I've heard your comments. I've figured out how to use the stupid conversion thing. So I'd been trying to do it through Irina's hotbar here, but I needed to go to the ritual spot. So that's also the reason why Theo wasn't able to do it, because it was here the whole time. So as you can see, I've done both on Grace between episodes. And so we've gotten her confidence in her original ideology down to 30%. So it was, I think, as high as like 80 something. So we've basically knocked off about 25% each time. So it may take one or two more attempts to potentially convert her over, but it is doable, very doable. And I guess on that note, her resistance is down to about 12 as well. Her will is completely gone. Oysters is down to 2.9, so both of these may be joining us relatively soon. And then I got a sleeping spot set up for Hailsham as well. What else do we have going on? So we had another harvest. which perfect timing because we were very, very empty in the freezer here. Actually, Wade has a ton of food on him, so it might get a little bit tight in there. If we need to, we can just mine some of the mountain out and expand that way rather than having to move walls. Speaking of walls, we've done a little bit more building over here thanks to Theo. So these will eventually be the restrooms, as I mentioned last time. And it looks like this bedroom is done as well, short of the door. Now, I started putting in sort of the patio flooring here, and it's limestone flagstone that I used, and I'm not quite sure if I like the way it looks. I don't think it looks bad, I just don't think it looks very Star Wars, if that makes any sense at all. So I'm trying to think of what an alternative might be, and I'm leaning a little bit towards these mixed stone tiles. They'll take a little bit more work to build because we have to, I think we have to take, I don't remember if we can do it straight from the chunk or if we need to make tiles and then combine them. But effectively we need at least, I think, 2 different types of stone, which isn't a problem here. And then we can then turn it into this mixed stone tile, which is nice because it has a little bit more color than sort of the solid color stone floors. And then I was thinking inside the base we could use some of these mosaic tiles just to make things look a little bit nicer as well. Maybe in the restrooms, for example. But I'm thinking outside maybe this. Let me know what you guys think. This is already built, so it can stay there for the time being. Though I might cancel the remaining portions just so we don't waste limestone. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm just not quite sold on the look of this. Again, it's not that I don't like how it looks. I just don't think it's very Star Wars, and so I don't think it quite fits what we're going for here. But I'll allow you guys to weigh in on that before I make any final decisions. So let's get everybody moving. I believe Jaina is hustling out to grab Hailsham. Yeah, she is. Okay. We'll need to unload her too because she is carrying a bunch of things for us. We did load up her inventory as part of the caravan. And in the cell that we fought her, there was actually both an ancient bed and an ancient turret. So I grabbed both of those, even though it did slow us down a little bit, and brought them both back. You guys are still alive, huh? I do feel genuinely bad about leaving people to die like this. But, you know, they attacked us, and if their own people are going to leave them to die, then what am I supposed to do about it? I can't save everybody. And I think the Jedi are pragmatic enough to realize that they're not exactly going to try to save every single person all the time, right? So they've arrived. As you can see, I conducted 2 conversion rituals. And now that everybody's back, I'll probably start handing out a few more roles. And now that I understand better how the conversion mechanic works, I'll probably reallocate some roles because it doesn't necessarily require us to have Erina as, say, a counselor anymore, because we can have Theo recruit as the leader. And in fact, I might make Hud the counselor because he does have some passion and skill for social, so it doesn't necessarily it's not outside his wheelhouse, and I think he's probably, in terms of makeup, a better fit for that role than a smuggler and sort of light criminal. Erina, on the other hand, I think would be more appropriate as maybe the commerce secretary right now, because she obviously has some experience with smuggling and trade, and so she's really the only representative of that, you know, kind of business side that we have here. And then Theo will eventually become our defense secretary, and we'll find a civilian leader for the overall Republic group. Who that'll be, I don't know. I guess it could potentially be Hud, but for now it seems a bit premature to appoint a governor. So I have this ancient bed. I don't know who deserves it, if I'm being honest. It is though uncomfortable, it can still be used, but it's too dilapidated to restore. So I wonder if Basina would like it. Oh, there's the turret. Let's install this somewhere. Actually, does it even work? I guess I should find out. Let's put it down there. And actually, you know what? I want it closer to the wall, because the conduit here might just reach to like there, like a wire without a conduit could potentially reach that far. Oh, and then you could go, oh wow, this is big. The problem is it's 2 by 2, so 4 total, and this is built on an odd number, so that's a bit unfortunate. Well, I could throw it down in here just to make things look a little bit nicer, but this butcher spot is unfortunately in the way. Let's move that to there. We'll create a new build that just says butcher forever, so anytime we pick anything up. And then this one can get destroyed, and then hopefully it will allow me to place this there. No. Why not? Okay, so the terrain is the problem. I'm guessing it's the marshy soil. So we'll terraform that into some stony soil. Actually, that should be fine, because that's already rough sandstone. Yeah. So we'll replace that marshy soil, and I think that'll be enough to do it. And then we can put that down, and this place will be a little bit less of a hellhole. People will be a little bit happier to be in there. Granted, we're already sort of transitioning people out of there, so it's not a huge problem, but something we should deal with eventually. So let's get some sleeping spaces in here, and HUD, you can actually have this one. Again, we're going to move Basina in to there eventually, but for the time being, actually, she's not doing any research, so because I've already assigned that to HUD, therefore it might make sense to just move her in now. And to that extent, I think she might like the ancient bed. Let's see. HUD, you're going to sleep here. I'm going to deconstruct that, and we'll install this here for Basina. I don't know which end is the top. Maybe that way. It says it's uncomfortable, so she might appreciate it. She seems to like sleeping on the floor. Right, so now that everybody except for... Wow, Jaina's really sleeping in, huh? Well, everybody else is awake. So I'd like to have a couple of rituals. The first being a role change. And that change is going to be... So we have to have a Jedi Consular, huh? Why can I not assign any other role for the Jedi? So let's get rid of that. And if I input, say, Erina there, I can make her the Commerce Secretary. That's fine. Sure, do it. Yeah. And then I think we'll make HUD into the Counselor. But as far as the Jedi go, I'd like to make Wade the Master. Or, actually, more importantly, I would like to make Basina the Keeper. But it doesn't look like I have the ability to do that yet. I might need to assign a Master first, but it almost seems like it wants me to assign the Consular before anything else. And I'm not quite sure why that is. And I am genuinely curious what a lightsaber made out of this is going to look like. Now, I actually don't see lightsabers in my research tree, so I'm trying to remember how to unlock them. Let's speed things up a little bit. This is taking forever. I don't remember how to unlock them. I seem to recall that they were made at the components, the same bench that you make components at. And so I'm wondering if they're just unlocked with that research, or if they're not even technically locked behind research. It's just that the bench that you need in order to make them is locked behind research. So that was successful. I think while everybody's here, let's do the other one real quick. So not Jaina. If I put Wade in here, what are my options? Consular is the only option. So I might need to make him into the consular so that I can make Basina into the keeper. I guess we can try it, right? And then worst case, we just change him out of that role later. But it's odd that it won't let me assign the main leader first, if that makes sense. So HUD, we're going to make you into the counselor. Which apparently Erina is holding both titles. That's interesting. But yeah, we're going to put you in charge of that because you're... I don't know that he's better suited from a gameplay perspective, but he's better suited from a roleplay perspective, and that's more what I'm concerned about. Who's upset? Jaina? Why is Jaina upset? Oh, she needs to eat. Well, because she was like sleeping all day. Well, after this, she can eat. She also gained a... Somebody gained a force point, I thought. Oh, Basina gained 2. Well then. Since she has 2, I will get lightsaber offense just so that she isn't doing half damage. Then I think I'll put the other one into... It's a tough call because, like, force push might have some utility. The thing is, her only method of combat is melee combat. So we don't necessarily want to be pushing enemies away because then all we can do is disengage and flee or basically run back into melee combat with them, right? And the alternative is force pull, which makes more sense given that she can only do melee combat. But it's probably best that we just keep her out of combat in general. So arguably push makes a little bit more sense. I mean, honestly, neither are ideal for her purpose. Speed kind of makes sense because then she can avoid combat. I might just go another point into heal other, though, because that makes her infinitely more useful as a healer, because not only can she treat people really, really well, but she can then use her abilities to expedite that healing. Force Ghost is kind of interesting because that would give her sort of like a familiar to summon that could pull aggro. Mind Trick is also an interesting thought because it would cause an enemy to wander aimlessly and effectively do some crowd control. And actually that could be really useful if there's one extremely dangerous enemy. We can just basically take them out of the fight. But I don't want to skew her too far into the light either because she is, well, she's a gray Jedi only in that she is kind of doing her own thing, somewhat independent of the Jedi Order, but she doesn't necessarily dabble in dark side abilities. And I don't really see anything that would kind of fit her for roleplay purposes from the dark side. Arguably maybe Force Drain, but even that has kind of like an inherent evilness to it that I don't think really fits her. So I'm leaning toward Mind Trick, actually. Let's do that. Okay, let's get this over with, and then Jaina can go eat. Alright, so HUD is now our counselor. So she lost her role, but she did gain another role. I had assumed that only one role could be had per person, but apparently not. Our construction seems to have slowed to a halt, unfortunately. I'll have to figure out why that is. Okay, so Theo is working on stuff. However, I suspect that we're having material shortages, especially wood. So I did queue up cutting down more trees, which I know the Jedi are going to be so furious, but they're still at -20, so there's nothing to lose by continuing to do it. So Theo's going to drop that down, and it should connect. Actually, doesn't even need to. Oh, it's broken. It's worthless. God damn it. Okay. In that case, deconstruct it. See if we get any components. Wow. Okay, let's make sure that these get hauled because we are going to need limestone for certain floor types that we're looking at. Whether it's this one or the mixed stone, we will need limestone. And I do need somebody to come chop those trees. HUD, I have yet to see you research. Actually, no, he was researching a little bit, wasn't he? I think we can finally install this, though. Let's see, Arina, thank you for moving those. Oh, you're going to do some cutting, too. Well, then I won't interrupt you. Jaina, what are you doing? You're going to play horseshoes? Do you think you could do this first? Yeah, get that rat skeleton out of the way. Wait, you're praying. No, I need you to do this. I can't figure out why Wade is still glowing. Like, he's glowing extra with that. But, yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I might need to restart the game to get rid of it. I guess it's not that big a deal. So Wade just broke Oyster's resistance, which means we can actively start recruiting him. And it should take no time at all to do so. Grace, on the other hand, still has some resistance, but her will is gone. And she is relatively uncertain in her ideology at the moment. It actually would probably be worth having a few more rituals. I suppose... So these are still on cooldown, so we can't convert her yet. But what we can do is assign Wade as the consular, I suppose. So let's do that and see if it opens up the keeper role for us. And I don't quite know how this works, but it would be interesting to see if we could use both ideologies to whittle away at their current ideology, but then say if we want them to be Republic, we just make sure that that's the one that we use last in order to convert them. But it looks like there's kind of just one shared cooldown. So successful role change. So what happens if I go here now and I say, yeah, so consular, is that literally the only role that we can appoint people in? Why? Why are you like this, RimWorld? So I don't know what's going on, but obviously there's other roles that we will want to fill. So if we go to Jedi Order, there is, of course, the leader, the Jedi Master. Requirements must be a Jedi. Okay, check. I don't see any other requirements that haven't been met. And then for the keeper, let's see. Unlocked by tree connection. Right, so we still need to figure that out. Okay, so that's something I'll work toward, but that doesn't really explain why the master role is not available. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I wonder if it's not... It could be that it's not counting Jaina as a colonist because she is not yet an adult. In which case, we would only have 2 Jedi, and then maybe it doesn't want us to fulfill the role. But that wasn't an issue with the Republic, because we had Theo before we had Theo as the leader well before we had all 3. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. All right, so we just recruited Oyster. Oyster, my friend, we're going to need to change your hair up a little bit. You're re-equipping your Molotov cocktails. Yeah, I don't think you need those. You don't really need any of those for that matter. What was your... You're not really good at anything in terms of combat, huh? Well, in that case, I don't know if it's even worth giving you a weapon. Maybe one of these auto pistols that looks a little bit spacey. Or potentially the Scout Blaster. But we don't need to give you anything high-end because you're not going to make very good use of it. Actually, real quick, let me see. So, mining and crafting is what we want him doing primarily. Okay, fair enough. So, Oyster, let's get your, whoops, your priorities set here. Wardening, I'm just going to turn that off completely. Or it could be like 4 or something. Mining is going to be your top priority. We'll set quarrying also at 2. Smithing, I think we're going to set relatively low, as with tailoring as well, but we'll move crafting up to 3. I'm going to get rid of these entirely, and I guess these can be a 4. Yeah, that looks okay. So mining is his top priority. If there's anything that needs to be mined, he should get to it right away. Then he will do relatively low skill crafting stuff, so he's not going to be making us weapons or armor, but if we need chunks cut into stone, he'll do that before anybody else. And that should take some of the burden off of both Wade and Erina, because Erina's been doing most of the stone cutting. Granted, she doesn't have a lot else to do right now. She was hunting, but she's not doing a lot of that right now. So I guess we could move her up to 2 in wardening, just so she puts a little bit more emphasis on that. And we can actually take wardening down to 3 for Jaina and up her growing and plant cutting to 2, because that's something we honestly need a lot of help with. There's a lot of ground to cover for Basina alone, and Jaina's been helping, but she has other priorities, so she's not necessarily doing that all the time. So that might be a little bit more efficient setup for the time being. I'm going to jump into the character editor and tweak our friend's hair here so he doesn't look like a Twilight wannabe. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. So eventually we'll tweak his clothing as well, but for now I think that's fine. And yeah, I'm gonna ask him to equip this scout blaster just so that he has something to defend himself with. But I don't plan on like really drafting him into combat unless it's like an all hands on deck type situation. Let's see. So we're still waiting on those floors. It looks like the terraforming is done, so we can get that wall in. And then I don't know what kind of doors I want. I guess I'll just continue using these same ones. And for floors, I put down the where floors. I put down the mosaic tiles in limestone for the 2 bathrooms, but I'd like some sort of transition between whatever's in the hallway and that. So I'm not seeing. I used to have some cool metal floors, but I'm gonna keep this rolling. I'm not seeing them, so I think we'll have to just leave it be. Oh my god, we finally finished some research. So we can build solar panels now. We probably should do that like immediately. We'll do it here. I don't have enough steel. Are you serious? Okay, well, we'll build it there. That tree can go. Jedi be damned. And there's plenty of steel around, so that will be the first task for our new friend there to go mine that. And yeah, we still don't have batteries, so that's probably another... Oop, that's not the right tab. That's another priority that we need to look into. So, yeah, I mean, that's a relatively quick research project. I say relatively, it's less than the previous one was, but the previous one took us quite a bit of time to finish. So we'll do that. Smithing is also something that doesn't look like we've done. So probably something we should look into sooner than later, because it looks like a lot of things do branch off of that. Drug production is going to be important if we want to make medicine at any point. But I'm more concerned about things that build to other things rather than like, okay, sure, if we do drug production, are we really equipped to start manufacturing medicine right now? I don't think we have the facilities for it. So I'm more worried about things that kind of facilitate other things rather than going after like very specific items right now. But the battery is a little bit different because we need batteries. So Yeah, I think that looks good. Geothermal power is tempting, but I think I'll wait until we have a better quality research bench and facility to do that. So I'm going to use Wade's convert ability on Oyster just to lower his certainty with his current ideology. I don't plan on converting him to Jedi, but since Wade can do this a little bit more frequently than the ritual can, it's worth using it just to slowly chip away at that. And then when we finally want to convert him to the Republic ideology, we can use the ritual. I'm also working on a corpse disposal room here. So we put a stone door in this little choke point, and we have a stockpile for corpses. My thinking is we'll get them out of sight over there. Yeah, it actually did need to be roofed off. And then when it gets full, we can use the Molotov cocktails to turn that into a little furnace. And it's a bit macabre, but it's a fairly efficient way to deal with it. Right, so we got a solar panel up, and that will hopefully help alleviate the need for wood that we've been burning for power. Granted, without batteries, we can't store any of it, so the solar panel is only going to be so useful, but it should, again, at least take the strain off of the other generator until we can store the excess power during the day so that we have some rollover into the night. How's Hailsham doing? She is still pretty beat up, and unfortunately she does have some scarring that we'll have to probably treat surgically, so we can use plasteel to remove those permanent damaged head ifs. Oyster, what is going on, bud? Right, because of your culture, you just hate this place a ton. And yeah, you're going to have a mental break, like, imminently. Nothing we can do about it. Other than, of course, just keep actively converting him as quickly as we can. To that end, it almost would have been better to probably leave him as a prisoner until we had converted him. And that's kind of what I was working on with Grace, but he was already ready to join, and we can only convert people so fast, so maybe it was a bit premature, but otherwise, like, he would have just been hanging out as a prisoner ready to join whenever. So we have a new quest called Ship to the Stars. Let's check that out. So a friendly AI from your past named Carlton Whitestone has sent you a message. He reveals the starship hidden. He reveals he has a starship hidden on this planet. It sends you its coordinates. So it's like this is the default win scenario, which we have zero interest in. I recall now that we had some other quests pending that I've kind of forgotten about. So do we want to rescue Droid? It looks like she is up and about. I really do wish I could see something about her beyond just the fact that she's red, I guess, and has kind of like a vaguely anime bob cut hair. But we did want to check out this vault, so maybe now's a good time. We did just have 2 new additions in HUD and Oyster, so we could probably spare Wade and Theo for a little bit to go check this out. So I think to that end, let's jump out to the world map. And man, that is way, way out there. So let's see. We'll form the caravan to there. It's going to take 2 days. I think we had 3 to save her. So we'll accept. And we're going to be sending, again, Wade. Who, actually, give me one moment here. I need to make sure that he's not still lugging around a bunch of stuff in his inventory. Okay, he's not. Good. He had like a knife and a pistol in his inventory, among other things, that was kind of weighing him down last time. So we'll form the caravan. We're going to go rescue. And we want you, and we want you. And we'll bring the packaged survival meals, I suppose. Right, I wish that wasn't on by default. So, yeah, all 5 of those is going to give us 2.8 days worth of food. The rice, I don't think is necessarily a good idea. How about the agave? Wait, I thought we were putting that into our inventory. Okay. No, we are. Got it. I want those. That gives us almost 3 days. Let's not bring Glitter World medicine, maybe. Let's bring, like, herbal medicine is probably more than adequate. Is there any other food that would be worth bringing? It all weighs roughly the same. So I guess rice makes as much sense as anything. But I'd like to make sure we have at least like 4 days worth of food, because it's going to take us 2 to get there. And then if we come straight back, it'll take 2, but we're probably going to visit that vault on the way back. So we might be a little bit short on food here, but again, they can also forage. And if they have to starve for a day, it's not the end of the world. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's ship them off. And yeah, I don't think this is so far out of the way that it's going to add a lot of time to the journey. Because what more than likely will happen is they're going to venture up to the road. They'll take the road up this way and then go across. And then to come back, they'll do the exact same thing. And then rather than just going here, they'll go there and then run across. Or actually, they might even go back around, because I think it's actually relatively slow moving through this purple area. I don't know for sure. It's a modded biome, so I have very little idea. Wow, look at you chugging away, HUD. Very impressive what a full-time researcher can do with no distractions. Who is... Right, Oyster is very upset. Can't really help that. Jaina, I need you to not be converting people. Cool, batteries are done. We can now store our electricity. The question is, where do we want to do that? Where could we bank batteries safely? I'm not going to worry about it right now. Like, electricity isn't a huge problem. And I don't want to be building batteries in, like, wooden structures. So, I won't do it here, but somewhere in the Jedi Temple we'll set up, like, a battery bank enclosed in these heavy walls, so that if they do go kaboom, it's at least contained. And we can even separate the batteries into individual rooms just to kind of control the explosion. Or even in a single room, we can just space them out with, like, I don't know if fences would necessarily be enough, but there are other, like, divider things that we can use that aren't walls, or it could be walls even, just to kind of, again, separate them from all going up at once. Right, so in the meantime, we should choose a new project. That 400 went actually very quickly, so I don't feel too bad about assigning something a little bit more complicated. The question is, I think we have to get smithing. Smithing is just like such a basic thing, right? Glassworks is also, well, no, that only is going to lead to 2 things, so we can put that off. That might be useful eventually, but I don't think either of our ideologies allows for the use of harvesting or using organs, or maybe we just can't harvest them. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check. Let's see, basic electronics. Yeah, we're gonna have to get into that as well. This is like such a, pardon my language, but a clusterfuck. Everything is like all over the place. Like, what we have, clothing mixed in with siege equipment and gas extraction. Like, what is this? Anyways, I think smithing is like too fundamental a thing to pass up right now. So let's do that. And then we could even go to gunsmithing from there. No, we have to go to machining. Oh, there's apparently something before that as well. So let's follow the arrow up this way. This is going to be impossible. Well, I know it's up here somewhere. I'm going to guess... it could even be higher up. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what it would be. Is it like all the way at the top? What would that even be? Spacer props would be nice for decorative stuff, but that's obviously not a huge priority. So I guess I think if I hit Control click on that node, it should automatically queue anything required. So I'll probably go ahead and do that. Just so that we, oh, the lathe, okay. I guess that makes sense, but, yeah, whatever, that's fine. So we just detected a farming site. This is owned by the Purple Realm. I'm not familiar with the Purple Realm. Who is that? Is that a faction that we're familiar with? No. So are they independent then? Is this just like a farming convent thing that's just off on its own? I guess so. So what would be the quest here? If you wish, you can raid the camp. Nobody will care, but I mean we'll care. So yeah, that's trash, I guess. It's interesting that we get these. Like it would make sense if we had the raider ideology or that precept or whatever, but we don't. So I'm not sure why it keeps feeding us these, because we're not raiders, so we're not gonna raid. I'm actually gonna get rid of this too now that I think about it. And yeah, we'll get rid of that one. So just these two, that's all we're interested in. And I pray that droid isn't a complete waste of time. We'll go to the cell, I guess, and we should, sort of like with HUD, where we had to actually like free him in order for him to join us. If it looks like she's not worthy of bringing back, then we'll probably just leave her in her cell. As horrible as that sounds, it's better than bringing back somebody who would be like detrimental to the colony. So I've been trying to figure out why exactly Basana can't do, what's it called? Like nature meditation, I guess. And so you can check your colonists' meditation types by going to this little eye icon down here, and then it'll say right here meditation focus type. So despite having 2 tribal traits, she can only do minimalist meditation, meaning like she can stare at walls. That's basically it. And I don't know quite why that is, because again, both of her traits are tribal, and I even changed her adulthood trait just to make sure that that was the case. And I know that for a fact because if I go into the character editor here and I click on these traits, I can sort by the different sources. So I can say show me only tribal traits, and she has tribe child, which is a tribal trait, and then the healer one is also tribal. So both of her traits are tribal. I don't know if that means that ascetic is overwriting that, or if there's some other cause. I wasn't aware that only one meditation type could be done. As far as I understood, they weren't mutually exclusive, but perhaps that is the issue, in which case I might need to remove this trait and replace it with something else, which I don't want to do all this, but because it's not quite clear how these mechanics work, the intent was always to have her be able to meditate with the anima tree, and obviously that isn't necessarily the case here. So Yeah, I'm honestly not quite sure. So, for example, if we... I don't think I can sort by... Let's see. Negotiation ability. Is there anything that dictates meditation type? Hmm. No. Most of these are stat modifiers. Yeah, so that's not going to help me. Mental or perhaps focus or inspirations. Let's try inspirations. Enables meditation focus type. Okay. So that's not quite what we're looking for. These, on the other hand, yeah, appear to be kind of what we want. So natural born colony child would potentially get it to what we're looking for. But unfortunately, that seems to be the only one. And so if we can't get it through backstories, which was, it's my understanding that you should be able to, with a tribal backstory, you should have the natural meditation focus type. But we apparently don't. So I could give her this trait to enable it. And I may just do it so that we can start. Let's see. So rather than giving it to her in place of ascetic, let's just do it in addition to all of her current ones. And does that in fact give her multiple meditation types now? Okay, so they're not mutually exclusive. Therefore, I ask again, why is her tribal backstory not giving her that? Anyway, that'll be our workaround for now. I may just have to give everybody that trait so that they can actually use the anima tree. Otherwise, what was even the point? Need at least 20 anima grass. Okay. Anima tree linking can start at any time. So what happens if I grab her and right click, have 0? So is it just going to start growing on its own? I guess I'll wait and see. But let me know if I'm doing something wrong. It doesn't really indicate. It says 57% grown. That's referring to the tree, I presume. So I think I know what needs to happen here. So she needs to meditate at the tree, and by meditating at the tree, that will grow the anima grass. Is there anything I can do to kind of facilitate that, though? Let's see. Meditation. So there's a meditation throne. There's the grand meditation throne, and we have these Jedi and Sith meditation pads. Now, those are specifically for the force powers, so that's not necessarily what we're looking for. These, on the other hand, would allow her to meditate at them, but they're for a specific meditation type, if I recall correctly. So that's not necessarily going to help, and it's detrimental to build non-organic, non-natural things in this radius here. So we don't want to do that. Therefore, I guess we'll just have to kind of see what she does. I'm a little bit concerned that the ascetic trait is going to throw things off here, because she may just decide to stare at a wall instead of going to meditate at the tree, in which case, you know, it's going to be impossible for us to do what we're trying to do. In fact, to that end, caravan meeting by Theo's Caravan. So who did we meet? The Alliance of Bolodo. We have nothing to trade, and we're not interested in being hostile, so let's just move on. So, in the interest of doing the anima tree business, it might be worth giving Jaina that trait as well. Again, I don't like doing this, but if I can't get things to function how they should, or if it's not clear how they should function, then I kind of just have to find my own solution. So Jaina should now be able to meditate at the tree. And I guess another thing I should do is have some meditation time for them just to ensure that they're actually doing it. Whether it happens by staring at a wall or going to the animatree, I can't really control, but I can at least make sure that they're doing it, because I don't really recall seeing them ever meditate during the day. So it very well might be that she's just never actively doing it. So at least by sort of allocating some time, that will drive her toward it. Now, why are you researching it all at this point? I guess I should just remove it completely. I wish there was like a meditation thing here. There very well might be, and I've just overlooked it. I don't think so. Yeah, okay. Well, at least she won't be researching, which might make her a little bit more prone to actually going and doing the meditation. So we're being raided, and it looks like there's potentially a lot of them. Where are we pointing at here? Or are they coming down in like a drop pod or something? All right, let's give it a second. Yeah, they were drop podding in, but they're over here. Okay, so there are 5 of them. It looks like we have some auto pistols. That's a heavy pistol. That's an auto pistol. Oh, a revolver. Interesting. Okay. And then a couple more unarmed. Oh, wait. No, you have a steel knife. And you have nothing. Yeah, I don't know why they keep sending unarmed people to attack us. That seems very ill-advised. Oh, look. Somebody who can build. What a sight. Yeah, that's somebody we might want to bring on board just because builders are so rare. And he can cook too. Not that we have a lot of use for that, but you know, we may want to. Wow, 2 builders. Oh my god. What kind of lottery have we won here? And a workaholic too. So this person is just going to be building all the time. I don't think I've ever seen a male Togruta though. We have another passionate builder. Wow. So far, a lot of these, at least stat-wise, have been very impressive. Now, Gourmand and Tough, not bad. I mean, Tough is great, obviously, but you're not very combat-oriented, so kind of wasted. Then Gourmand, the hunger rate is not something I'm very fond of, but can be dealt with, right? I mean, at some point, we produce so much food that it doesn't matter. Workaholic Scrapper is great. Slob is a bit unfortunate, but you know, if we have cleaning robots, it's not that big a deal. What about you? What about Fender here? Fun-loving, fast learner who's a bit abrasive. Construction, mining, and social. Not the worst we've seen by any means. So, you know, I would happily take any of these people, other than like the prude misandrist kind of ruins you, unfortunately. But then we have a heat-inclined stoner who has at least a little bit of passion for combat. But yeah, I would say you 2 are probably the worst of the bunch. This guy's solid, as are these 2. So we'll see what happens. If any of them survive the ensuing battle, then we may very well decide to bring them on. Are they attacking immediately? No, they're going to prepare. Okay, so they're going to hang out for a bit. You know what? I like fighting on my own terms. So it's going to be tricky without these 2 here. I'm trying to think what the best way to do this would be. Obviously, Erina's going to be super lethal with her gun. You 2 are competent in melee combat, but we need to be careful about that. And then, actually, I can't count HUD out either. So he has this E11 blaster, and he's got 9 in shooting. He just has no real passion for it. So he can definitely put down some fire. I think what we'll do is take cover. I mean, all we really have are trees, right? Unless we want to move up to like these chunks here. So let's draft Jaina. I'll get you to here. Basina, we're going to bring you over here as well. Erina, let's bring you over. Right about there, I guess. And then HUD, let's bring you over too. Oyster. You know what? Alright, well, are you on the verge of breaking? Maybe I should just let you do your thing then. Because, I mean, one more gun shooting is obviously not going to hurt, but at the same time, I just don't know how much good it's going to do. And then if he has like a berserk mental break or something right in the middle of our group, that you know, could be the end of us. So probably best to just let him kind of do his own thing. Now, of course, Erina is also on the verge of a break, but she obviously is also going to offer a lot more combat utility, so there's at least some potential reward to that risk. Now, I'd prefer to leave her set up and kind of lure... Wow, you got really lucky with that shot that you just kind of let loose. But I'd like to lure them into her range because I don't want her like firing on the move. So HUD is doing some work right now. Where did you get hit? Okay, nothing too bad, just some bruising. Guess it bounced off her plate armor. She is wearing an armor plate under her vest. She's currently cowering behind cover right now, as is this dude. So you're not dead by any means whatsoever, but you are the one with the terrible traits. So don't know if I'm gonna try to recruit you or not. These guys aren't even joining in. That's so funny. It's like the two with guns decided to fight back, and these guys are more or less content to just kind of watch what happens. So he's down as well. This is the tough gourmand who, again, I would definitely at least consider joining or bringing on. Basina, all right, they're fleeing. I'm not going to pursue these two. They can just run. The question now is, do we try to take Fender and Komodo prisoner? I think we do. I think we do. So, how bad are you health-wise? Your liver was almost destroyed, but otherwise you're perfectly fine. Jaina, take Fender prisoner. Capture him, please. We do have enough beds, right? We'll need one more. Okay. And Basina, if you could grab Komodo. And we'll unforbid these weapons. Is it going to let me? No. Okay. We'll unforbid all of this, just so that we can bring that back with us. Hopefully these two flee far enough away by the time they get close where we don't accidentally like aggro them again. They oh, okay, you're gonna rescue him. Well, that was very very responsible of you. I'm surprised that you would do that. I do have a mod called like Nobody Left Behind or something that, you know, allows them to do that, but it's interesting to see because, you know, typically it's just everybody for himself once they decide to flee. Well, that might be for the best. It's going to keep my prisoner population a little bit lower so that I'm not lugging around way more prisoners than I can afford to feed. Which is, you know, potentially an issue. The rice is keeping us fed, but there's definitely a lot less food in here than there was an episode ago. And so, checking in one last time with Wade, it looks like he is about a half day, well, he and Theo are about a half day out from this refugee rescue mission, which we have 1.4 more days to complete, so it looks like we'll have plenty of time to spare. They are potentially going to slow down, though, now that it's night, so yeah, we might not see them actively making any progress, therefore it might be a little bit closer, but it should still be fine. I really do hope that Droid was worth this effort. Otherwise, again, we probably will just leave them behind. Either way, it'll be interesting just to see what kind of loot is there, and then we can, of course, visit the vault as well and see what's in store for us there too. Now, with that, I'll go ahead and leave you guys here for today. It's been a blast playing some RimWorld with you once again, and I look forward to seeing you back here for the next episode.